All right, Saints fans, we're closing in on our Atlanta Falcons YouTube channel. We got to catch them. Let's beat them to 6,000 subs here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. Subscribe for more videos. Producer Trace, our Who Dat resident here, is saying, hey, can't be losing to Falcons today any longer. So subscribe if you want more coverage and if you want to beat the Dirty Birds here at Chat Sports. You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. Mel Kiper Jr. has released another NFL mock draft. This one is a 2-round mock draft, and that means the Saints have multiple picks to get into today. So let's break it all down. The draft, of course, looming just a couple weeks from now on April 28th is opening night. Mel Kiper does a 2-round mock draft every year, and here it is this year. And New Orleans has 3 picks in the first 2 rounds, so we'll get to find out who Kiper likes on the second round as well as the first round. Now, in total, the Saints have 7 NFL draft picks this year, a pair in round 1, one in round 2 and round 3, then a pick in each of rounds 4 through 6 as they traded away their 7th round pick. But, hey, 3 picks in the first 2 rounds. Let's see what Mel Kiper does and if you guys like this draft or not. Let me ask you this first before we get into the selections. How are you feeling about the draft this year? You excited? You fired up? I know I am. Or are you a little bit nervous? You know, it can always be dicey. You don't want to draft the wrong player. We see it time in and time out that some guys hit, some guys don't. So are you excited, nervous? Maybe both. Type B if you are both excited and nervous. Some of the guys that were gone before the Saints selected in round 1, some notable names: Malik Willis, Liberty quarterback, went number 6 to Carolina. Garrett Wilson went number 8 to Atlanta. His teammate, Chris Olave, by the way, went number 15 to Philadelphia. Evan Neal, Charles Cross, a couple of other guys off the board as well. So you're probably wondering, okay, well, what direction is Mel Kiper going to go in? Still offensive line. Trevor Penning, which has been a very popular selection to the New Orleans Saints in the first round of mock drafts. We've talked about him before here on this channel. I think McShay mocked Penning in his last mock. Producer Trace confirming that for me. Big, strong, dominant in the running game. I think he's an instant starter at left tackle in the NFL, and especially in a run scheme where Alvin Kamara is going to get a lot of touches. And with Teron Armstead gone, you got to replace him. Here's Mel Kiper on Trevor Penning. Quote, "Speaking of the Saints, I had a hard time believing they traded picks with the Eagles for the purpose of taking a quarterback. Why wouldn't they try to move up higher unless there's another move to come? It's possible they think they're NFC contenders this season and could be put over the edge with 2 more starters. With that in mind, here's a tackle who could replace Teron Armstead on the left side. Penning is a nasty, physical blocker who is ready to play immediately." And we've showed you this before. His PFF grades were fantastic. 97 overall. Run grade basically perfect. Pass grade still very good. Certainly has to improve there. But despite playing at Northern Iowa, I think Trevor Penning is a stud of a prospect. He's a smart player. He's a powerful player. He's light on his feet. I think he could be a 10-year left tackle for New Orleans. Who is your favorite all-time draft pick for the New Orleans Saints? Producer Trey says Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush? Reggie had a nice career, but best ever? Come on. Come on. Favorite draft pick of all time in Saints history. I want to hear from you guys down in the comments section. Next up, round 1, pick number 19, and let's have some fun. Jameson Williams, the wide receiver out of Alabama. Electric speed, great route runner, awesome after the catch. If he did not have the torn ACL, which, by the way, the recovery is going good, I think he'd be the first receiver drafted because he is so dynamic with the ball in his hands. He's one of these guys that every time you give him the ball, he can take it to the house. There's no doubt about that. Here's Kiper on Williams. Even if Michael Thomas comes back healthy, which sounds like he will, the Saints should address receiver with one of their 2 first-round picks. Williams would have been in the discussion to be the number 1 wideout in this class, but he tore the ACL in his left knee in the national title game in January and could miss some time in 2022. He could be a superstar once he's healthy. He has explosive speed and was uncoverable for the Crimson Tide last season. ACL ACL injuries aren't even close to career-ending anymore, so I don't think this is a risky pick. Williams is worth it. Why is he worth it? Because you don't see guys that average 20 yards a catch on 79 catches that often. I mean, usually when the guys average are that high, it's like, oh, he had 40 catches for 800 yards. No, this was high volume and high efficiency and explosiveness for Jameson Williams. Almost 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns. He's becoming popular in Saints mock drafts, and I think in these, in the teens, this is a guy that's going to go off the board, and if the Saints are interested in a big-time playmaker, I think Jameson Williams is a guy I would be very, very interested in. And producer Trace, because there's been some buzz that the Saints could draft a quarterback, he said, thank God they did not go that route. They address offensive line and receiver instead. And I think that's the right approach. And stay tuned. Maybe the next pick is a quarterback. But I think if you're the Saints, you should try to win this year. And if it doesn't work out, draft a quarterback next year. The class next year is much better with Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, maybe Spencer Rattler bounces back, and there's always one or two quarterbacks that emerge that we're not thinking of, and I think that could be the case in a year. By the way, Chat Sports, which is what makes Saints Now possible, goes live for the entire NFL Draft. I will be live on our main channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Tom Downey, Mitchell Rentz, Chase Sr., the rest of the squad, both behind the scenes and on camera, are ready to go. All 7 rounds of the NFL Draft will be live for all of it, starting Thursday, April 28th through Saturday, April 30th. We don't check out on day 3. We still do full day 3 coverage. So don't miss it. Mark your calendar, subscribe over there, youtube.com/chatsportstv. All right, quarterback, Matt Corral in round 2, number 51 overall. And by the way, as we film this, last 24, 48 hours, a lot of Matt Corral buzz. Apparently the Eagles might like him in round 1. I mean, I don't love number 49 overall, by the way. Misspoke for some reason. For whatever reason, he's getting round 1 buzz all of a sudden, which I don't really love. But in the middle of round 2, I wouldn't mind throwing a dart here, see what he can bring to the table. Now, I think it's interesting because I don't think Corral's ready to start as a rookie, but you got Jameis Winston, you got Andy Dalton, you've got some vets that can hold it down this year. Improved a lot last year. The problem is he played in a really quarterback-friendly, gimmicky offense with Lane Kiffin, but pretty good arm, good touch on the deep ball. Mobile quarterback. He's tough. He took a lot of hits last year in the SEC as a runner, and kept getting back up and led Ole Miss to an 10 or 11 win season. I like him better in round 2. I will say this. Here's Kiper on Matt Corral. Tough evaluation, he says. He wants to play like Josh Allen, but doesn't have the size at 6'2". He was the only player in the country last season with 3,300 plus passing yards and 500 plus rushing yards. Will he be able to consistently make every throw in the NFL? That's why I think he's a safer bet on day 2. He would make a lot of sense in New Orleans, where he could get an evaluation year behind Jameis Winston. Well, for one, it doesn't sound like Kiper is even that sold on the pick. But look, quarterbacks after the first round, very spotty. Even the ones in the first round, very hit and miss. So that's a certainly understandable evaluation. And I think he makes some good points in that evaluation. The decision-making, questionable at best. He plays like a quarterback who has a cannon of an arm, but he has a strong arm. I hate to even say this. I get Will Grier vibes with Matt Corral, where college put up huge numbers. His arm was, a plus arm in college, but sometimes he makes a throw and it's like, dude, you're not Mahomes. Like, reel it in a little bit. I get those kind of vibes, but there's enough talent there that someone's going to take a chance on him either in the first or second round. I don't hate it, but if you're trying to win this year, I think another position makes more sense. You could add another player on defense. You could add another wide receiver even. How about a tight end? Maybe round 2 is a little early. But at the end of the day, I don't hate it in round 2. I just probably would have gone elsewhere. Obviously, you don't really have your long-term solution on the roster unless Jameis Winston absolutely lights it up and resets his career this year, which, hey, maybe that happens. You never know. Andy Dalton's obviously a stopgap guy if he needs to play due to an injury or Winston struggles. You have him. Ian Book is still a project, so we'll see if he ends up making this roster. So there you go. That's Mel Kiper's mock draft. Trevor Penning, round 1, pick 16, the big tackle out of Northern Iowa. Jameson Williams, an absolute burner. I love what Kiper did in round 1. Matt Corral round 2, I think the value's okay there. I just think that you could go elsewhere if you're trying to get a win now piece. So grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F. I'll go B+ because I love the first round picks. I don't love the second round one, but I think it's okay to take a chance on a quarterback on day 2. So get your grades in A, B, C, D, or F. By the way, just of note, some other notable players we've talked about here on Saints Now and where they landed. Jordan Davis lands with the Chargers at pick 17. Kenny Pickett goes to the Steelers at number 20. Traylon Burks, number 23, to where did he end up in this mock? Arizona Cardinals. Jahan Dotson ends up with the Titans at pick 26. And then Jaquan Brisker goes to the Texans at pick number 37. And by the way, hey, expect the Tyrann Mathieu rumors to kick back up after the draft. I think he's a candidate to not sign until after the draft. And, hey, depending on who the Saints draft, maybe they circle back to the veteran safety. All right, what was your favorite pick in this mock? Type TP for Trevor Penning, type JW for Jameson Williams, or type MC for Matt Corral. Let us know. We'll see you next time here on Saints Now.